We up with the sun star. We up with the sun star. You know what I'm saying? We beat the sun up, but we don't, because the sun never stopped working. The sun never stopped shining. You know what I'm saying? The sun is always shining, even when it appears to be dark. You know what I mean? The sun is still shining. We just on the other end of the earth. You know what I mean? That's polarity. That's the law of opposites. Feel what I'm saying? So we up with the sun. You know, we manifesting, and like this parking lot I'm in, I come here a lot because, you know, I manifest a lot of visuals, you know, a lot of visions at this spot. In one of the books that I'm working on, one of the many books that I'm working on, it talks about this parking lot. So when the world get it and you hear about this business enterprise center that I created in this story, you know, just know that I'm sitting here at it. You know what I mean? I would show it. It's really nice. And I want to say this is the sign. You know, the Highway 75 is right here, adjacent, and that exit right there is Atlanta. It says Atlanta, the Chattanooga, and the way it splits, the highway splits, is like the Aries. So anybody that's into, you know, astrology, and you know the sign for Aries, it looks like this. Or one could say Capricorn. You know, the goat. And, you know, a lot of people now are saying that stuff is sacrificial or sacrilegious and all that, but it's actually, you know, our mothers and fathers, you know, the constellation, Aries and Capricorn, they all have their righteous meanings in our life. However, you know, this is where I'm actually visualizing the text, and I'm not going to talk about what the concept of the book is, but it's just, you know, when you receive it, this would make, you know, this is going to be a lot more valuable, and you'll enjoy it a lot more to know how much, you know, of a writer that I am. I actually try to embody and live these characters' lifestyles that I'm writing about, because this book is going to be realistic fiction. But it's like, it's no different from watching The Godfather and wanting to be like, you know, Al Pacino. Well, technically you are, but wanting to be like Michael Corleone or Al Pacino, you know, etc. And most people look at Al Pacino as Scarface or as Michael Corleone. And that's kind of where I'm at now as a writer, and understanding, you know, my calling in this, and like really the livelihood of it. And so this next project is really beautiful. You know, just for it to be in the beginning stages, of this process is really amazing. And yeah, I'm drinking Starbucks. I don't give a fuck, because guess what? It's like, that's Mommy Virgo on the front. You know what I mean? What European, you know, got hair like this? Answer that first. You know what I mean? That's Mommy Earth. Cocoa beans come from the earth. You know what I'm saying? They come from Mommy Earth. That's why they have this right there. You know what I mean? And I've done some research. They said that this is Virgo. So, you know, people need to just get over themselves. Because do they own a Starbucks franchise? Do they own a franchise, period? Do they own a business, period? Okay. That's how we combat that energy. I'm not no coon. I know who I am. And I know nobody's superior over this body, over this being, except them stars that's up in the sky. And so, I do what I want. But, yeah, that's it. Like, you know, where I am as a writer, this is one of my best projects. Alarm Clock gave me like a format on like my writing style. Like, you know what I mean? Like, my writing style will speak loudest to you around this hour, early in the morning before the sunrise. That's the best time to read my books. Um, you read my book early, when the world still appear to be moving slow, but it's actually moving fast. You see distribution. So, yeah, that's the best. That's where that inspiration of the alarm clock came from. It goes back to when I was in high school. I think I discovered that I was a writer in high school, and I would listen to, Pac and Nas early in the morning, and Erykah Badu, and the Fugees, like just those, like classes. It's like classics, like just that class of classics. You know what I mean? Early in the morning, and before school, and just get my day start off and get my mind in the right spot. Like, that's when I really first started listening to Nas. I remember I was on Renota Road, and I would go to that Starbucks on Renota Road, and you know what I mean, I'd be playing Thug's Mansion. You know what I mean? Back then, what was that? Pandora. You had the Pandora radio, so Thug Mansion came on. You know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure they had the rock hymns and all that on that radio. But that's the, and Rakim is an Aquarius like me. So when it came to me, like when I was initially writing, it's like, well, when you really get a freelance pen, and I wrote a book in 2013. You know what I mean? And this may be somebody, I gave them out to a lot of people. That's just stuff that people don't know about me. The Alarm Clock is not my first book, but my first book was in 2013, and with that, it was kind of like more like I understood that you could freelance. The teacher would like, here's the topics that we want you to write on, and you write on these topics, and I took that to a whole nother level. And then it's like, well, let me give myself the topics that I'm gonna write. You know what I mean? And that's where I'm at with it now. And it's like, this is no subject. I write for the universe, for Luna, for the moon, for the stars, for our people, and that's the polarity. It's to show people that what is above is also within us. You know what I mean? And so, like, when I talk as if nature was talking in my book. And nature is like, I'm going to create a beautiful, like, if y'all could see that, like, nature's like, I'm going to create a beautiful canvas where people can get inspiration and inspired, and they can feel the air, my air, they can feel, my warmth, they can feel my heat, to get energy and inspiration to move forward in their calling, their purpose of life, you know what I'm saying? And so, like, I adapt these things into, like, I'm like, well, if nature's gonna operate on that frequency, let me add to that. Let me add a book that I can put into people's coffee table, that can complement this energy, that can complement this air. So imagine you reading the alarm clock. The first sentence in the alarm clock is, most people think that change is easy, but it requires great sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? You hear that first thing in the morning, you know what I mean? You on your way to work or whatever, and you've been visualizing certain things, and been wanting certain things to come to pass, and something is close to, and you hear change. It's like that. When you hear change, when you listening to Michael Jackson, Man in the Mirror, and you hear that, and then and you listen to that, and it brings tears to your eyes, that type of change, and you want to change that much, And then I come with it from a real standpoint, and I'm like, Arvo Logistics, and I'm like, um, I want you. I come with it, and I'm like, if you want change for real, you gonna have to go through the pits of hell, and I'm the one to tell you that in the alarm clock. And then I tell you my story, and my story is not comfortable. And I didn't even tell all of my story in the alarm clock. If I told all my story, that would be like 1,000-page book, literally. You know what I mean? And so I just give you bits and pieces to highlight what I done been through. Because that validates who you are as a person, your identity, your makeup, your cosmic makeup. You know, so I explain that in those 121 pages, and it's so divine because my my dad's father, biological grandfather, who I laid to rest in 2019, was born on January 21st. And in Book of Rhymes, my grandfather who raised me, not my biological grandfather, but like blood wouldn't make it any stronger. My grandfather Jack, you know what I mean? God rest his soul, was born on 9/3, and it's 193 pages, and that's when we released the Book of Rhymes. You know what I mean? Like, you see how powerful that is? So, you know, just I'm one of the world's greatest authors, and will be remembered throughout time. That's just not me boasting or ego. This is it is what it is. And so I'm the world's greatest author, and I'm telling you about these projects. One of the world's greatest authors. You know what I mean? Because I'm not going to act like I'm the only great author with, you know, writing abilities, but in that elite class. And you're going to get so much more stuff from me, and I'm not afraid to tell you. You know, most authors, they hide behind pen names, but no, you getting it from me live and direct, and it's going to be real. It's like I call my words hip hop on paper, man. You know, and we'll end on that note. But, you know, hopefully this video can give, you know, any writer or creative inspiration and whatnot. We'll put this on the No More Suits YouTube. And No More Suits is just a creative platform that was just like, though it's a business construct, and, you know, in this Western world civilization, you have to be business minded. This is more so that right side of the brain, the harmonics of nature and creativity. But best believe we know our business shit. You know what I mean? I'm a finance major. You know what I mean? I have a financial degree from an elite university in North America, you know, Winston-Salem State. So, you know, I know what I'm talking about on the business side of things too, but I also understand that sometimes you gotta let nature have its way, and that's what No More Suits is. And that's what it's always been. That's why it's called No More Suits, because, you know, you can't be square and right. I couldn't be square and write no books. I could, it'd be boring as fuck. But my books is you know what I'm saying? My books is something, you know, like literally every response that I had on my book, and you check the receipts, I can't put this book down. We read this shit straight through. Literally, go check the receipts or go read for yourself. Go get my book, The Alarm Clock, and Book of Rhymes, man. And The Golden Laws of Dispatching through Ground Up Distribution. That's more of a textbook, but it's still creative. And those scenarios, I wrote those scenarios myself. Them was actually real scenarios. You know what I'm saying? That I lived. So, man, so y'all check out what I have out now. And please come to my conference in Knoxville. You know, my conference in Knoxville is going to be life-changing for the people who come, and that's all I have to say. So you pay $600 to $1,000. The most is $3,000, but that's for if you're bringing multiple people. So think if it's 10 people, you know, you pay $3,000. That's $300 per person. You know what I mean? Invest into this organization. It's gonna change your life. You know, it's gonna be something that I'm not gonna tell you what we're gonna be announcing there, but it's going to be one of those things that I'm so glad I came and witnessed this, because you're gonna witness it. History. It's already stilled and stamped. So, just know I'm a different type of person. Like I created these books and created businesses around these books that people can actually be a part of. You know what I mean? And people are a part of. So, you know, don't limit yourself. The world is yours. You know what I mean? Peace, salam, assalamu alaikum. You know, hotep, if that's what you do. You know what I mean? And I'm off of here. Alhamdulillah.